All right, I got to give a shout out to our boy, big fan of the show. Look, Laura B, that beef jerky's here. We're going to find it. I'll get on all fours and sniff it.
Where is it?
That's what it takes. But our buddy Keenan McMahon sent us some Travis Kelce Crunch.
Yes.
Right, and a nice note, big Booster Club member, big fan of the show, and he got it from the Hy-Vee. Now, if you don't know what the Hy-Vee is, all right, I coached in Iowa, been to the Hy-Vee many a times. It is the best grocery store that there is.
Hy-Vee?
The Hy-Vee. H-Y-V-E-E. Check it out.
Never heard.
They have the best Asian food. I would rather go get Asian food from a Hy-Vee than go to any Asian
Like
food.
what? Like you walk in and there's just an Asian shop?
You know how you walk into like Publix and Kroger and they got like the bakery and the deli and all this stuff? Hy-Vee's got like Asian food, fried chicken, all type of stuff. It's like a beautiful collection of everything you would want from a food standpoint. And the service has always been fantastic when I went in there. So there's no Hy-Vees in the South, I don't think. It's a Midwestern thing. I remember in Iowa going to the Hy-Vee all the time.
How many are there?
I think there's it's a chain. It's a pretty big chain.
Man,
it's like their Winn-Dixie, kind of, I guess.
Winn-Dixie? Like Piggly Wiggly?
No, better than
Piggly
that.
Wiggly.
Better than, look, there's nothing
they
wrong
don't have
with
any
good old
Asian food
Piggly
at
Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
No.
But first off, Travis signed this one.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That is cool.
And second of all, after you guys put me on Buc-ee's, I'll try anything.
No, for sure. Buc-ee's for the win all day,
I'll try
every day.
anything.
Now, it's not as big as Buc-ee's or as intricate. I consider Buc-ee's a super center, not a grocery store.
Buc-ee's is adult Disney World.
Yeah, I feel like at Buc-ee's, I mean, you could get everything from beef jerky to finding a hitman. I mean, they have basically everything there. It's an unbelievable place.
I was at Buc-ee's the other day.
I saw you send a tweet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Not mid.
Never been.
Never
I've never been to it. And
well, they
haven't
actually
been there.
don't allow Kirk Cousins in Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause they're
If they
afraid
see
of
him on the
becoming
I
property,
think they're
it's
like that.
immediately
I
arrested.
think they welcome him in. They're just like, the only thing we don't sell are championship rings.
Yeah, well, he didn't have one of those anyway. Dak Prescott delivered big for the Cowboys on Monday night. Can he do it again this Sunday? Michigan offensive coordinator Matt Weiss has been placed on leave while he's under police investigation for some computer problems. We all know how crazy that can get. And we're taking your calls live at 8:15 a.m. Eastern, all right? Make sure you call in. We're going to have a good time. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Dak Prescott had a hell of a game on Monday night in the dispatching of Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But make no mistake, that has not been, nor it will be, the norm. Prescott has been the model of inconsistency this season, and they're going on the road to face perhaps the most consistent team the league has to offer in the San Francisco 49ers. Even with a rookie quarterback who was balling out, by the way, they have more pieces than a big-ass jigsaw puzzle. But it all goes back to me just not trusting Dak. After the Jags lost this year, he led the league in interception percentage and almost leads the league in turnovers while playing in way less games than pretty much everyone else at the position. Also, Dak suffers from what I call Carson Wentz syndrome. It doesn't just go bad, it goes 5-alarm fire bad. Dak doesn't just make mistakes, he makes catastrophic mistakes. And we've seen it in crucial moments down the stretch. He still has never made it past the divisional round, and even with the win is 2-3 in the playoffs. And even though he was unbelievably efficient and effective against the Bucs, I don't trust him against a team that isn't dysfunctional. Now, the Cowboys have the defense, and they have the pieces on offense around the quarterback. But in my opinion, and it's nothing personal, they just don't have a championship quarterback. Now, we want your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. Throw it in the chat as well. Going to go ahead and bring in former Michigan quarterback, Heisman candidate, and underground superhero, David Cohn. And soon to be father,
you're not above
too.
ground yet?
Yeah. And then my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, and he's pretty good at Call of Duty. Decent. Blaine Crane. Guys, look, and I know the Cowboys, a lot of it is a love or hate with them. I am coming at this from a purely analytical, statistical, and eye test standpoint. I don't trust Dak Prescott to have a similar performance against the 49ers that he did against the Buccaneers, who are unbelievably dysfunctional. Tom Brady is on his way out. Todd Bowles may be on his way out. They haven't been able to put it together all year and still won that horrible division. So people say, all right, you look at Dak's stats against the Bucs. 26 of 33, 305 yards, 76% completion percentage, average over 9 yards per completion, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. We know he had the rushing touchdown as well. But he has not been able to put back-to-back elite games together. He threw for over 300 yards one time this year, and it happened to come against the Eagles at home when it started out in disaster mode. Remember, he threw the pick to Sweat early in that game. They ended up winning 40-34. But he has not been able to put back-to-back 300-yard passing performances together. Not only that, coming off his best games, that next game, he's turned the ball over at least twice in the interception category. So when it comes down to it, and I know he went through the injury phase earlier in the year, guys, I just don't think the Cowboys in general are consistent enough. But for dadgum sure, I don't think Dak Prescott is consistent enough to go beat a San Francisco team or put enough wins together from the wild card to the Super Bowl to be able to put a ring on the finger of the Cowboys organization.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're asking me, will Dak Prescott ever win a Super Bowl with my life on the line, I would say no. I think that's a safe bet. I think Vegas would agree with that. A lot of that's not necessarily just on him, though. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino was a good enough quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott is not the type of guy you can just put on any team and elevate them to be a Super Bowl contender. He's not Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I've really enjoyed watching from Dak Prescott this season, especially since he's come back from injury, when he does make those mistakes, sometimes even catastrophic mistakes that you're talking about, he has proven that he can bounce back within the same game, and reel off as many as 19 straight completions. Or this past weekend, playing against Tom Brady, he starts 0 for 3. He goes 11 for 11. After that's significant. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford as a comp right now. Like I said, this guy's not Peyton Manning, right? He's not Patrick Mahomes, but Matthew Stafford was interesting to me. Now, all things said and done after their careers are finished, I think Matthew Stafford will be a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. But you put Matthew Stafford on the Lions year after year with pieces around him, good offensive pieces. He wasn't a Super Bowl quarterback. All of a sudden, he goes to LA, which was a much better team with a better coach, and he wins a Super Bowl in his first year. He was hurt this season. Dak was hurt this season. So I pulled up some stats from last season. Matt Stafford was top 3 in the league in yardage. He was top 2 in touchdowns. Dak Prescott was top 7 in those categories and actually had a better completion percentage and a better touchdown to interception ratio. Can Dak get it done in the best moments when you're facing the best defenses like the 49ers, or if you go find yourself up against the Eagles, or if you find yourself toe-to-toe against Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow on the final drive in the Super Bowl? I don't know if Dak Prescott can get it done, but I'm telling you, I've enjoyed watching him get better throughout the season, even after injury. And let's see. This team is good enough around him to be a Super Bowl contender.
That's my whole point. And people have said when I tweeted out this morning, they're like, oh, well, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have a really good defense. They don't have that defense. Mm-hmm. All right? They don't have the elite upper echelon best defense in the league, hands down. I think that's the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. That, to me, Matt Stafford was balling out on a bad team. It's almost the inverse of Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. They have all the pieces around him, but he is the problem. And it's nothing personal. I like Dak Prescott. I like the way Dak Prescott handles his business. I think he's the ultimate professional. You never hear about a ton of stuff off the field with Dak. He seems to be a good leader for that team, knows when to say when. But it's those crucial moments, and it's the fact, kind of like you mentioned, that him going up against a better team. In my opinion, the 49ers are a better team than the Cowboys. The Cowboys around him can win a Super Bowl, but Blaine, I don't think he has the chops to win a Super Bowl at quarterback, even with the team around him, because I don't think he can get through that gauntlet playing well. Just examples, all right? Let's look at this season. Okay, you had against the Commanders, last game of the year, goes for 14-37, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Against the Titans, 29-41, 282 yards, had 2 picks in that game. All right, you look against the Jaguars, which they lost, had 2 picks in that game. Texans, which they won by 4, had 2 picks in that game. Giants, which they won by 8, had 2 picks in that game. Green Bay had 2 picks in that game. He cannot go multiple games without having multiple interceptions. And if you do that against this 49ers defense, even with a rookie quarterback like I mentioned over there, not only will they make you pay, they will get points off of it every single time with that offense that they have. I just don't see 4 quarters of great Dak like we saw against the Bucs.
Well, the thing about it, Dak's played well against the 49ers. I think other than 2018 or one of those years, he's played, I think he's
played this team.
5 touchdowns. Obviously, it's a different 49ers team. But one, all picks aren't equal, obviously. You brought up the Jags game. Hell, half the receivers dropped the ball, dropped it into a defender's hand as I watched him run into the end zone to lose the game. But the thing about it, I do think Dak is good enough to win a Super Bowl for a couple of reasons. This year, the inconsistency was real. I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, one of his worst years, obviously, but go back a couple of years. I mean, he's 30 touchdown, 10 pick, 31 touchdown, 9 pick type of guy. So, I mean, you can look at this year for inconsistency. Yeah, that's fine. I feel like Dak has pressed this year. I mean, he broke his thumb early. I think it was week 1. And as a quarterback, David, I might be wrong, but if you break a finger on your throwing hand, I don't think he's all the way healed. I don't think he's all the way injured. I think injuries like that always kind of, in a way, nag you. But I agree with David, and I think Dak's good enough, and I think the team around him is good enough, and I think they're young. You look at it, Michael Parsons, young. CeeDee Lamb, young. Diggs, young. They'll have enough cap space, enough moves they can get made to surround a couple more people around them, whether that's in the secondary or whatever it is. This 49ers game, obviously, I don't think he's going to throw for 300 yards against the 49ers. I just don't. I feel that's a really tall task for somebody, and obviously if you want to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you have to beat the good teams. But I feel like if Dak plays within the system, if Kellen Moore calls a good game, the one thing I liked about Dak, especially about last week, he was getting out of the pocket. Dak's best when he's out of the pocket. I've always thought that. You go back to the Mississippi State days. He's best when he is out of the pocket, on the run, making throws. So do I think Dak's good enough to win the Super Bowl? Yeah, I do. He's been consistent somewhat his entire career, unless you go back to the year he broke his ankle. And this year's kind of been an outlier to me for Dak when it comes to touchdown to pick ratio, because Dak's always played within an offense. So I think Dak's good enough. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are good enough. And I think this win against, first of all, the Buccaneers are not a good football team. I know they're NFL players, but I mean, you're not going to get as many chances as you got against the 49ers that you had against the Bucs. It's just not going to happen.
Is this the best Cowboys team you think Dak Prescott's played for since he's been there?
That's tough to say because the offensive line that's
the only thing I would say. And there's been a lot of injuries this year up front.
I say that, but the Cowboys do have more pieces than just about anybody. You have 2 upper echelon running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield and be effective in Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Michael Gallup. You have Dalton Schultz. You have Noah Brown's a good player. T.Y. Hilton, while he's older, is a good player. You have weapons. They lost to the same, well, not the same San Francisco team, but last year, San Francisco knocked them out of the playoff in the NFC wild card. Dak went 23 of 43 for 254 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. He's been in the playoffs, 4 different times? Played 5 games. All right, you're 2-3 in that. You've never been past the divisional. All right, at some point, we got to sit here and say, if we make fun of Rick Barnes and Tennessee and some of these other coaches about getting to the NCAA tournament and fall apart, well, the Cowboys done the same damn thing. They can't win the big one in the playoffs with Dak Prescott, and it's because of inconsistency. That is what I just don't trust him. And you know what? He may prove me wrong. And like I said, I like Dak. I liked Dak when he was at Mississippi State. Thought he was a hell of a player. He's had good seasons. I just don't trust him when it matters the most. We know some guys separate themselves and elevate. The better the game is, the bigger the game is. I just do not think that Dak Prescott is one of those guys. But I do think right now, if you like to gamble on sports, you need to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. And new customers can bet $5 on the NFL divisional round. Bet on Dak or not, I don't know, whatever your fancy is. But if you bet that $5, you get $200 in free bets instantly. Right then. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Some sportsbooks are offering $100 in free bets if you spend $5 or $150. Get out of here, man. Stop it with the softness. That's $200 right there for you to get emotional on. And don't ever bet on Notre Dame basketball because they let me down so hard, I almost broke my spine last night, but we'll get into that later. Make sure you check out DraftKings, the best sportsbook there is, and use our code BOOSTER. Speaking of Booster, Blaine, what's going down in the club?
All right, Chris C., what's up, brother? $5 donation. Appreciate it. So, Jake, I've been dying to say this since yesterday.
Oh, gosh.
He's called Symbiotic Spider-Man. The alien that turns his suit black is called Symbiotic?
Symbiotic.
Symbiotic.
Yes. Okay, I appreciate that.
I love
Thank
that.
You. To me, it was Black Suit Spider-Man or, whatever. And Blaine was right. It's the same guy.
Yeah, it's Toby.
It's technically the same guy. It's just there's some bacterial stuff going on that's super pissing him off. all right, or what we call, where I'm from, the view.
Hey, you make sure you know every single player on every team in every sport for this show, and then also know everything about Spider-Man.
I will.
That's what the club's
I'm going to go look it up.
They're coming at you for that.
I know they killed his uncle, all right? I know his aunt. She's devastated by it. I know there's been 19 different Spider-Mans. Hell, there's been so many Spider-Mans, they made a movie with all the different Spider-Mans.
Did they really?
Yes.
Who
Like the multiverse.
Best one? Who was the best one?
Man, I like...
Look, like Tobey Maguire is
Spider-Man.
I don't,
Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man.
Good, because that's
I don't care about the other.
Just like Lou Ferrigno is the Hulk.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man.
I don't care about the other one, or I don't care about that chick they made Spider-Man from England, whatever.
Yeah.
They made a girl Spider-Man?
What's that?
They made a girl Spider-Man?
What's that one kid's name?
It's 2023, David.
Or you're just...
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
That's a guy.
Oh, my bad.
That's a male.
Let's go to Greg Hart.
Did a
$2
fool of me.
donation. Says, how big is Ben Johnson staying with the Lions?
It's huge. Again, we always talk about the best ability is availability, and the best ability is stability. The Lions, to continue the growth process and not have a hitch in it, or not have to kind of maybe not restart with an identity, but with a new person, having Jared Goff return, having those weapons return, having that offensive line return, and the OC, now you're getting deep in your Birkin bag. And if I'm a Lions fan, let's get some pieces to add around Aiden Hutchinson and let that defense and go win the NFC North next year.
Do you think this will be his last season, Ben Johnson, before he gets a head coaching job?
Yes, which is, if you're an NFL coach, if you're Dan Campbell, that's what you want. It's just like if you're a coach in college. If people are coming and sniping your coordinators for head coaching jobs, what's that song? You must be doing something right. You are. That's a compliment to you. That's why I'm talking with Michigan fans who are like, I'm so sick of Harbaugh and talking to the NFL. If the NFL is coming to talk to your head coach and it's not some token interview with some of these other coaches like we see, then that is a something is going good. I would much rather be in a situation where people are coming after my coaching staff to be head coaches than them trying to stay away because it's absolute poison. It's a compliment. At the end of the day, that's what you want. That's the position you want to be in. Yes, it can be tough. Yes, it can cause transitory problems, like we've seen with trains, planes, and automobiles in the United States lately, but it's a good, high-class problem. It really is.
All right, Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Crane & Company, says, are the 49ers the biggest test for the Cowboys in this year's playoffs? Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think they're the most balanced team.
I'll tell you, man, the Eagles, too. The Eagles, too.
Well, the Eagles, too, but to me, playing right now, who's playing the best right now with the best personnel? As crazy as it sounds to be talking about a quarterback that's played in like 6 or 7 games,
Brock Purdy,
it's the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, he's going to face some adversity at some point. That's why I think Dak Prescott's best friend is that defensive line and really that front seven of Dallas. At some point, you got to get to Brock Purdy and make him press a little bit.
Here's my thing with the 49ers and the way that Shanahan, the head coach and play caller, technically OC, if you want to get really down in the weeds a little bit, he's really the OC. The way they're going to attack the Cowboys is not the way that other teams attack the Cowboys. They're not going to sit in a drop-back game and let Micah Parsons and these guys pin their ears back. You know what they're going to do to Micah Parsons? They're going to run it right at him out of 12 personnel.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Not leave him unblocked.
As a pass rusher, if you're Micah Parsons, not that you can't play good against the run, but where does Micah Parsons have a lot of success? It's really not when they run it right at him. A lot of times, great pass rushers don't want the ball run right at him. What you do, Micah Parsons runs plays down from the backside. Yes. He's athletic like that. All right, we're getting heavy drop back game, no play action. I'm not having to think. I can just go. That's why I think what makes the Niners so deadly is they don't get in predictable down situations. They're pretty much always on schedule. And when you're able to mix personnels like they do because you have Swiss Army knives like Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and guys that can be effective doing multiple things, and you have wide receivers on the outside that enjoy blocking, it puts the defense in an even mindset where they cannot overload on one thing. And you would think with a young quarterback, it stop the run game, make Brock Purdy beat you through the air. That's not, Brock Purdy has been murdering people through the air, off play action, off waggles, off boots, things like that. But when you have an effective run game, you can build the whole menu with the steak and on the outside. So I think right now they're the most consistent team with the best personnel. Look, you got to play them anyway. I mean, to me, it's like the NCAA tournament theory. Mm-hmm. Would you rather play the 1 seed in the second round or in the Final Four? I'd rather get them early.
Yeah.
Give them to me early. That's just me.
All right, Blake the Great, that coffee is just on fire.
Is it like hot?
Like, oh my, like, yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you.
This coffee can stay in for 13 hours and it'll still be hot. These things are.
See, here's the thing. I don't even know if this coffee's from today. Like, it's still somewhat hot.
No, like seriously.
It's incredible.
All right, Blake the Great. What's up, Blake? Says Jerry being the most hated owner isn't a bad thing for the league. I feel like more people love to hate the Cowboys. Ken, what do you think?
You know, it's funny. I was talking about this with some of our guys in the studio the other day. I would like to be a Cowboys fan. I've been just like you, Jake. I've been indifferent. I didn't grow up a Cowboys fan, and I also have no hatred for the Cowboys fan because I'm not a Giants fan or a Washington fan. It's not like any sort of divisional rivalry for me growing up. But this idea of the Cowboys being America's team and, you know, winning the Super Bowls when I was growing up, I could get on board with being a Cowboys fan. I hate this narrative of, you know, Dallas always fails and Jerry Jones is the reason for it because he wants to micromanage everything. That's not a good look. You look at someone like Robert Kraft with the Patriots who said, I went and got my guy, Bill Belichick. I'm going to let him make the decisions. And now we have 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah, well, both guys technically are hands-on.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? I will say this. The Cowboys are like the Yankees, all right? Every sport needs that villain, that team to hate. Like in college football, it's been Bama for a while. Now it's Georgia. We see the way people hate Tom Brady. Hate is just a different form of love if you really, really think about it.
There we go. Look at that.
When
Poetic.
I look at teams, yeah, I'm waxing poetic right now. When I look at leagues that have success or narratives that can carry on through the test of time, having you know, remember it was the Yankees and Steinbrenner, right? Everybody hated the Yankees. They hated Steinbrenner.
They were winning.
They were winning, and they were throwing money, and there's controversy. You look at the Cowboys, it's a very similar makeup. I mean, Jerry Jones is the evil villain of the NFL when it comes, and you know what? He likes it. Steinbrenner likes it. They embrace it because even if you're hated, even if you're the villain, you know what you still are? You're relevant. And that's what these guys want the most. Because, look, it's an egotistical thing. When you can buy the Dallas Cowboys, okay, some ego comes with that.
Sure.
He didn't just fall into the lottery.
Yeah.
Right? This man was making oil purchases. Like, this guy has more. Him and Saudi Arabia got a lot of money when it comes down to it. But at the end of the day, being a villain, all right, still makes you relevant. And again, like I said, hate's
just a different form of love. That's some serious Jordan Peterson vibes, right?
Well, again, we can Jordan Peterson this thing real quick.
Yeah, we could.
I can just reverse questions that you ask me in the ways that you never understood. Like Jordan Peterson, like you ask him, you'd be like, well, I love Sprite. And he's like, well, no, you don't love Sprite. You really hate Sprite. And then he'll explain to you how you actually hate Sprite. And then you'll understand that you hate Sprite, but you also love it. That's Jordan Peterson, the mind melter.
Blaine, what do you think on Jerry Jones in Dallas?
On Jerry Jones?
Just the whole Cowboys.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's hard. It's like Texas A&M-ish to me, right? Every year they're supposed to win it. Every year they got this
but
guy.
They get the playoffs,
they got that guy. Yeah, true. They do better than A&M, but it's Super Bowl bust. I understand that. But they always get in the playoffs and blow it. They just at the end, it's the end result that I'm looking at. It's just blowing it.
Well, I would say it's more Notre Dame than Texas.
Okay, yeah, but Notre Dame, I don't know. Their ceilings like I don't expect Notre Dame to win when they get in the playoffs. I never have.
Yeah, well,
especially in college. At no point, if you looked at the Bamas and Georgias, look at Notre Dame, like, yeah, these guys are going to win. Yeah. It's never going to happen. You can look at this Cowboys team, and they got the guys. It's just one of those teams, one of those programs, and I blame Jerry Jones, to be honest, because it all starts with him. All right, all the talking starts with him, and back in the day, you have all success. It's kind of like Nebraska a little bit. All right, you had that stretch where you're just killing everybody, you're winning everything, and then next thing you know, you fall off the wall and you can't climb back up.
I was just thinking, if I bought the Cowboys and over time I won 3 Super Bowls in the first 5 years or something, 10x the value of the franchise, you probably couldn't tell me anything either. Even though at some point all the losses and not reaching the pinnacle again have to humble you, right?
Yeah, well, depends on who you are to get humbled. But all right, speaking about humbled, let's get into 5 big questions.
All right, let's do it. Let's stay in the NFL. Chargers firing their OC and the QB coach. Sounds like Brandon Staley's still sticking around. Will Brandon Staley be the head coach of the Chargers next season?
It's looking like it right now, but what are we doing? What are we doing? You know what? You want to stop a regime from screwing up? Take out the head man, all right? Take out the head guy. Like, it's the Chargers. You're not getting rid of the problem. Why did you cut out half of the cancer? Oh, boy can't do it. He can't do it. I don't think the players respect him. Go see the way Bosa handled himself on the sidelines when he handed his helmet. But it's not just that. It's the decision-making. It's a lot of little bad decisions that lead to the Chargers finally getting in the playoffs, getting a 27-0 point lead, and then absolutely blowing it. It's unbelievable the decision-making that Brandon Staley made down the stretch. I'm talking about playing your starter. If I'm Mike Williams, I'm so pissed. If I'm Justin Herbert, I'm so pissed. He's an overthinker. Overthinkers will never win in this league. They'll never win. You outthink yourself. It's paralysis by analysis. I don't trust the guy. I feel like the Chargers should have fired him. Get in the Sean Payton sweepstakes. You've got a lot of the pieces. You've got some guys on defense that you really trust with Derwin James and Bosa when he's not panicking and freaking out and acting like a 9-year-old on the field. But you need a guy to go in there that demands respect, that demands accountability, that can get those guys ready to go to work. Brandon Staley is not that guy. He does not motivate me. His actions do not motivate me. He's out there doing hip thrusts before the game in a very weird and awkward manner. I just don't trust him, and I like the Chargers. I'd rather have Phillip Rivers being the head coach than this guy.
Wow. Phillip could do it. Phillip did it in high school already. I don't know how he's not fired already, to be honest.
Like what
5 turnovers. Well, you blew it last year. How are you not having success in this team, especially in the playoffs? I don't get it. I mean, the talent you have running around on this team, it's ridiculous.
You don't get the ball to Austin Eckler in the playoffs?
Yeah, your best player, Khalil Mack. You go pick up Khalil Mack, and you lose to a Jags team, right? I mean, we can go to the Mike Williams thing. Obviously, that was stupid, but Mike Williams is soft. He is. He's been soft his entire NFL career.
He has a fractured back.
He gets touched. Look through it. He gets touched in the back, and he's sitting for 7 weeks. Same with Keenan Allen, his ankle. 5 turnovers. You're up 27-7 against the Jaguars.
27-0, Blake.
27-0. Wasn't it 27-7 at halftime?
Remember, they had the penalty.
Yep.
Wait, hold on.
Nick Bosa was offsides, remember?
Offsides on a Trevor Lawrence sack.
Yeah.
But it was going to put him back in field goal range. They score 7 and get the momentum before the half.
Yeah, okay. So 27-7 at halftime, and you blow that game. Any other coach, probably realistically, there's probably a couple guys that wouldn't. But you blow that game, you're fired. Like, you are fired. At the end of the day, you're the head coach. I get it. You fire the OC, the quarterback coach. That's fine. But you are the head coach, the head man in charge. It all falls on you at the end of the day. So I don't understand how this guy's not fired. So it's probably going to happen. The same thing's probably happen next year. They'll probably maybe get into the playoffs, have way too many injuries, and blow it to a team who's not even close to as good as they are. The Chargers are a better football team than
If I'm a Chargers fan, this makes me feel like y'all don't take this serious. That's what it makes me feel like. Y'all don't take this serious. I mean, Lombardi, the offense wasn't the problem. If you're going to fire the play caller. I know the back half of that game, you didn't do a whole lot. I questioned some of the play calling, but I wouldn't blame Lombardi for them falling apart. I don't think they respect the head coach. I don't think they do.
Well, the Spanos family, the owners, are not notorious for paying head coaches large sums of money or big contracts. So I don't know if that's part of it, like when you talk about going and getting Sean Payton.
Well, you're either serious or you're not.
I get it. All right, let's go to the Titans. The Titans had named a new GM. Rand Carthon was director of player personnel with the San Francisco 49ers. Is this going to be an improvement for Tennessee?
We're going to see anytime you elevate a guy up to that role, it's just like taking a coordinator and making him the head coach. You're not going to know until you know, because it's one thing to be even the assistant right below the GM, the second man in charge, and then being the guy. It's like being an uncle as opposed to being a father. They're two totally different things and two totally different roles with different responsibilities, and the buck really does stop with you. So while you do use your risk assessment and you feel like you obviously Rand and them have done a hell of a job over there with the 49ers, evaluating talent and building depth and doing things like that. Until I see you in that role and see how you operate and see the people that you hire and the people that you place around you, it's hard for me to project. Now, coming out of that organization, I think he'll be fine. All right, if I had to guess right now, gun to my head, I think he's going to do a good job. Will he put himself into one of those top 5 GM spots? We're going to see. I have to see you operate. I can't tell how good your jump shot is until the ball leaves your hand.
Well, just like you were talking about with coordinators, the better an organization is run, the more their guys are going to get poached. So
exactly
this is
right.
A situation.
Because the trick is just like becoming a head coach, you want to take a lot of the good things from everybody you work for, but you also want to have your identity, for it to be genuine in the way that you operate. And that's a line that Kirby Smart's done a really good job of walking that Will Muschamp has not when you look at in the coaching world.
Well, let's see what they do at the quarterback position. 7 straight losses.
And I love Will Muschamp.
Tannehill hurt
Used
in
to
the middle of
babysit
all
me
that.
when I was a kid.
All right, I want to go to this Tom Brady clip. Do we have this play from the Cowboys game?
Is this a cheap shot?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is Tom Brady a dirty player?
All right, let's go ahead and run this clip. So I have some thoughts on this. All right, so we know audio. That's
I mean,
That's dirt. That's
have you
dirty.
ever seen him do something like that before?
That's you know who that looks like to me?
Your boy.
Mac Jones
Mac
is who that
Jones.
looks like to me. That's a dirty play. I find this funny because I don't think they threw a penalty on this play, did they?
I don't think
No, I don't think they knew what they saw, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
again,
like
it's
like,
you know,
what?
you didn't just hit a double and you're sliding into second base. If you're on audio, I mean, he baseball slides and tries to take a guy's leg out. What I find ironic is that Tom Brady will be the first person to jump up and complain when a defensive lineman whispers to him. You've had the rules basically changed to protect guys like Tom Brady. I have about a 2-foot radius I can hit, but he can go ahead and try and slide tackle somebody from the back. I'm just telling you, like with Mac Jones and Tom Brady, I don't want to say he's earned a pass with stuff like this, but there is a huge difference between Tom Brady and Mac Jones. Will they go out there and take out Tom Brady the next chance they get? I don't know. Possibly. But if Mac Jones continues to do some of the dirty stuff that he's done, they are going to find you. Like eventually, and you say, oh, Jake, that never happens. Well, speaking of Sean Payton, let's go ahead back to the Sean Payton days when they were putting bounties on guys' heads without them even doing anything.
Sure.
But to me, this is like in baseball, all right? When you hit one of my guys, well, guess what? Next inning, if the time is right, I'm finding one of your guys. This is a cheap play by Tom Brady. I don't care if you're the greatest football player of all time or the worst football player of all time. It's unacceptable, and it's cheap, and it's above the position, especially when they protect you like the president's kid.
I've never seen something like that from
No.
him, Blaine.
No, he's not a dirty player.
But that's unacceptable, though.
no, yeah, this is dirty, right? But I don't think he's a dirty player.
How many dirty plays do you have to have in a row to be a dirty player? Like, what's the threshold?
You know, I
a
don't
good
know. I feel
question.
like there's a certain threshold you have to hit in a career to be a dirty player, right? Like Draymond Green's a dirty player,
Yes.
right? Do you call Mac Jones a dirty player at
Yes.
this point?
Yes.
I mean, there's just that one instant with him.
No,
There's been a couple.
There's been like
Okay, I'm not
four.
surprised by Mac Jones being a dirty player. His face, I'm like, well, yeah, he's
What's
up
wrong
to
with his
something.
face?
I don't know. He just seems like he's always up to something.
He is always up to something.
It's just me. But no, Tom, I just think Tom, especially this year, man, you saw Tom boil over emotionally a lot this year, more than I've seen him probably in any other seasons in his career. So am I surprised by this? Yes. But is Tom a dirty player? No. Because I'm one of the guys like, look, you either do that or you get Chandler Jones, Mac Jones situation at the end of the game. Get him down. All right. Do what you got. I don't care if you have to stab him in the ankle. All right. Just get him down.
Okay, well, that would make you a dirty player and a felon.
All right, let's go to the NBA. Bucks, big win last
Yeah.
night. 76ers had a big win last night. Spurs beat the Nets. How you guys feeling about the NBA, and who would be your pick right now to win it all?
Look, when we talked about this earlier before the season, all right, I picked the Bucks, and I'm going to continue to pick the Bucks. I know they're second in the East right now, behind the Celtics. They're 4 games back. Giannis, I just trust him down the stretch. I don't know how you defend this guy. When you look around him, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton last year was hurt. All right, that was a huge missing piece for the Bucks because he's kind of him and Drew Holiday are kind of both the second guy in charge when it comes to scoring. But Chris Middleton can absolutely cook when he gets going. Just call him Dalvin. He's up there cooking so much. But I like the Bucks still to win it. I think they find a way to come back and win the East. But I tell you, the NBA so far has been about the Western Conference to me. You look kind of, and I know there's been some separation. It's not as tight as it was. You love, Jokic and the Nuggets. The Grizzlies have been a great story. They're only a half game back from the Nuggets right now. The Pels, if you would have told me that I'd be sitting here talking, I knew we'd talk about the Nuggets, but we'd be talking about the Grizz, Pelicans, and the Sacramento Kings
yeah.
fighting it out for second place right now in the West and talking about, getting closer to a playoff spot. I start getting excited about the NBA around this time of year because we're marching closer to the summer, closer to the playoffs. You can't smell it yet, but guys are starting to want to play defense a little bit more, and it's starting to thin out, and you're starting to see really, who can do what. Biggest questions, you look at the Warriors, is that dynasty on its way out? All right, at this point, I say yes. I say yes. All right, I don't see the Warriors continuing to have the success that they've had. And that's unfair to ask because they've been one of the best dynasties that we've seen in basketball. But you look at the Kings, great story. You look at the Cavs, great story. The Knicks are still above 500. 45 games in. Can't believe it. Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to do anything when they get to the playoffs? We'll see. I think the Hawks have been a disappointment. The Bulls have been somewhat of a disappointment. But look, there's still so much longer to go right now in the NBA, but I'm starting to kind of get a little bit excited about it. Blaine, who do you got winning right now?
Man, this is tough. I really want to take the Grizzlies to be honest.
That's what I was going to say.
You're going Grizz, but the Nuggets are good too, man. And the Grizzlies are going to end up having to run into the Nuggets. Jokic is just, this dude is so good.
Yeah.
First of all, he is humongous, and he's got touch. He can hit threes, fadeaways, work in the paint, can handle, right? And then I just don't know if they have enough pieces. But then I go to the Grizzlies. Obviously, you have Ja Morant. I mean, who's getting better at shooting, especially this year. He's still jumping out of the gym, working in the paint. But then you got Steven Adams, right? You got your presence down low. Jaren Jackson, who's an absolute tree and plays phenomenal defense. Dylan Brooks, mid-range, he's one of your scorers. Tyrus Jones, a true point guard. Brandon Clark baptized a kid the other day, just like Ja Morant did. I think it's the Grizzlies' year. I think
it's the Grizz.
I really think it's the Grizzlies' year.
I would love a small market team, and yes, Memphis is a small market team.
Well, you look at those top four in the East. You got the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, even the Nets. I mean,
the Nets are relevant.
The Nets, and you're talking about teams that have really risen their stock. Cleveland Cavaliers right now, fifth in the East. A little bit disappointed that Miami's not playing better. I thought that they would.
But they're
they get it for naming your stadium that.
Yeah, that's true. And the Phoenix Sun too in the Western Conference. But I was going to take the home state Grizzly as well. Honestly, because the more basketball Ja Morant plays, the more opportunities I have to see if he can touch his head to the top of the stadium.
I will say this: if the one thing that'll forever scare me, I'm sorry, I don't know. I've seen it so many times. The Warriors make the playoffs. Okay? Don't doubt these guys. Please don't count these guys out because there's something with the Warriors. If they're all healthy, they're all on the court at the same times. Right when the playoffs click, they go into a different mode. They go Super Saiyan.
How about the Suns right now?
I just don't believe in Chris Paul and I don't believe in DeAndre Ayton. I'm going to be honest. There's a reason Chris Paul hasn't won a championship.
Yeah, I'm not betting anything on Chris Paul other than the State Farm commercial is going to be funny.
Well, they've fallen off, that's for sure.
They really have.
All right, last one here. NHL standings. Guys, it's heating up right now. The Boston Bruins.
Yeah, the Bruins, I mean, they're 10 points up on everybody else right now in the Eastern Conference. And if you look at the West, I mean, they're 13 points up on the Stars who are leading over there. The West is obviously a lot thicker right now at the top. Winnipeg, I mean, they're 45-29 overall. You look they're at 59 points. You got the Golden Knights out there in Vegas at 58 points. The Kraken got released for 56 points.
Look at the Kraken.
And the Kings, man. It's apparently if you're the Kings, you're in it right now. They're sitting there at 56 points. So the West, just like in the NBA, is a lot more competitive at the top right now than the Eastern Conference. But if you look behind the Bruins, I mean, what they're doing out there in Carolina is pretty impressive. They're over 60 points at 62. And the New Jersey Devils, been a hell of a story in the NHL.
Crazy.
They're sitting at 61 points with the Maple Leafs, the Lightning right behind it at 57. I'll tell you what, though, man, just something about the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they can get hot at the right time, and they're so explosive offensively. I know it hadn't been the elite year, I mean, that they've wanted so far, but you're 42-28. Or excuse me, you're let me find it again right here. You are 42 28-13 overall. So, you're having a good year. I just like the Lightning if they can get in the playoffs with their speed and their ability to score. So it's heating up in the NBA and the NHL.
For sure. A couple usual suspects in the East with the Leafs, Lightning, Panthers. We knew the Canes would be there. The Rangers with Shesterkin and go. But what Boston is doing right now is truly unbelievable. And you just
34-5, David.
And then New Jersey. The New Jersey Devils, just like you talked about. Now, the Seattle Kraken were one of the worst teams in the NHL last season. Now they sit at number 2 in the Pacific right now with 56 total points. And they're behind Vegas. You look at Calgary and the Oilers both fall into the middle of that division, and then the Avalanche have fallen down to the middle of the Central with the Dallas Stars leading. So look, we got to get the Preds up there too. 21-17, 48 points. The Preds they always do this. They go on a hot.
Hey, cover for your boy last night. Needed that.
You had the Preds last night?
Money line, yes sir.
Yeah, nice. No, it was guys. We're up 16 units in hockey betting right now.
There you go.
All right, and we're gonna post that graphic. But right now, what David Pasternak's doing, leading the team in goals with 35, leading the team in assists with 27. Therefore, he leads the team in points with 62, playing at a very, very high level. I don't know how you don't have the Bruins right now to win the whole thing.
Well, I do want to talk about my Flyers real quick. I don't know if y'all saw this.
Huge win.
But two, Ian Provorov, right? The Flyers came out and did a Pride Night, right? Warm up LGBTQ+. And Ian stayed true to himself.
I saw
that.
Stayed
true to his religious beliefs. He did not attend warm-ups. He stayed off the ice for warm-ups. And it's just refreshing actually seeing somebody. seeing someone stay true to themselves and their beliefs and what they believe in and not shaking just because you're going to get pressed. And obviously he's getting pressed now for it, but that's fine. This is America. You can believe in what you want. Doesn't mean he has anything against it, but he has something that he believes in as a man. It's just refreshing to see.
It is refreshing and it's amazing. When you decide not to go out for something like that, they vilify you, but you can take a knee against the country that gives you the ability to play, and you're a hero. It's a double standard. It's like my thing. I'm not going to wear a pride patch. I don't have anything against who somebody loves. I've got no problem with that. But I don't want them to go out there and have a heterosexual warm-up night. Like that has who I lay next to at night, who I kiss, who I want to marry has nothing to do with what's going on the ice or on the field or whatever. This isn't 1650. We don't live in Iran. You can marry who you want to marry, love who you want to love. Just don't shove it in my face. Or make me try and feel a certain way about it. Not that I have friends that like guys, like girls, guys like, doesn't matter. That's not how I judge people. Just like I don't judge people based on the color of your skin. I don't have black friends. I don't have white friends. I don't have Asian friends. I have friends. They're not in a category. We've got to get past this. Oh, well, guess what? You love somebody that's not the opposite sex. So therefore, let's just champion everything. Give you a night, give you a commemorative glass. And if you say no to it, you must be the worst person in the world.
Well, I saw that story, and I think he said he was Russian Orthodox, I believe, but I didn't know it was with the Flyers. So that's your team.
It's the same coach, what's his name, Tortorella in 2016 or 17, that said any player who takes a knee during the national anthem is not going to play.
Yeah. With the Flyers.
With the Flyers, yeah.
Wow, that's the team you adopted.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing on the other hand is, like, look, I don't think just because you take a knee that they shouldn't allow you to play. Like, just like my thing, I can't say on one hand that they should not get mad at the guy who doesn't go out there for the LGBTQ night, RSPUV, whatever it is, and then be like, yeah, well, man, you shouldn't play if you need to protest some. I feel like if people want to do certain things, you don't have to like it. You don't have to celebrate it, but I'm not going to sit here and use a double standard like a lot of people do on the other way. You know what I'm saying? So
you take somebody like the then Rockets GM Daryl Morey when he came out and said, support Hong Kong with China, right? Now, he wasn't fired immediately, but he was removed from the organization like a year later. This was over COVID and all that. I had the same position on it, which is the NBA and the Rockets organization within the NBA is an organization. They need to do whatever is best for their business model moving forward. If they want to intertwine themselves so closely with China that a guy who's the general manager saying free Hong Kong, is going to basically mess up your business relations and you want to fire him because of that, then that's fine. You have the right to do that. And then I have the right not to watch your team or your organization because I don't think you should put another country's interest ahead of the one that we live in where your LLC is registered, basically. So the same sort of thinking with what you're talking about. An organization can say, look, this is the way that we're going to conduct our business on and off the ice. You can either follow it or not follow it. And then people can then say, well, I'm going to either watch or not watch based off.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The NBA now is kind of like, have you ever seen the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis?
I have seen that.
When the two Koch brothers decide to outsource a United States town to China, where China owns the town. That's basically what the NBA is. China runs it, but it's in the United States. Like that's exactly right.
Sounds like a mess that Marty Huggins.
We need Marty Huggins to bring his broom. It's a mess. But I tell you, you'll be a mess if you don't get a will done. Especially if you have people that are counting on you. If you're the head of the household or co-head of the household. And what's crazy is 50% of Americans don't have a will. All right. Choose today to be in that smarter half. Go to epicwill.com, use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, and you'll save 10% on Epic Will's complete package. That's epicwill.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER. David, you're about to be a father of two.
Yep.
You've gotten this done. You've got a lot of people in your family to get it done. I've gotten it done. Reed's gotten it done. It gives you a little more peace at night.
Sure.
And the way that Epic Will does it, it's so easy. It doesn't take anything more than 5 minutes. It's the best way to go about it, and you'll save 10% if you use it.
Well, everyone needs this. Even if you don't think you need it in this moment, everyone needs a will. You need to go to Epic Will, and I'm about to be updating mine.
Yep,
so I already have mine set up, but I have to update with the second child whenever that birth
already
is.
triple the double profits.
Triple the double profits.
Yeah, and again, it's your last will and testament. It's living will and even healthcare power of attorney. So they're really, really versatile. They're the dual threat quarterbacks of the will game, Blaine.
Yeah, you got to get it done, especially, if you're a good-looking guy, brown hair, blue eyes, about 6'3", got a Bugatti. Got classified documents in my garage that no one knows about.
But they're safe.
But they're safe.
Yeah.
There's a Corvette in there.
Yeah,
it's locked,
that's exactly
obviously.
right. Who's going in there?
Yeah, got to get it done. All right, Booster Club. All right, let's go to Malcolm Martin with a $5 donation. Malcolm says, one day this season, talk about the NBA tanking. It's so interesting how it's done versus all the other leagues. Top picks can change your entire franchise.
Yeah, well, think about it. In basketball, individuals can win you a game. Like in football, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, football is the ultimate team sport. In basketball and in baseball, I got a pitcher that goes out there and shoves for 9 innings and gives up 0 runs. I don't have to score 13 runs. I got to score 1 run. In basketball, I go out there and have LeBron or Giannis or something like this. I'm going to be in the game. Like, it's just a different sport, and it's a different operation. But, guys, we are starting to take calls now, all right? The number is posted on social media and on the screen. It's 1-855-5. I'm still learning it. I believe it's 236-3228. 1-855-236-3228. Yeah, I did it.
Is that right?
That's right. That is right.
Say it again.
That is correct.
Oh, that's correct. Well done.
Correct. So, yeah, call in. We got live calls. We'll stick in the Booster Club for...
Let's go to David S. with a $20 donation.
Thank you, David
Appreciate
S.
it, David. He says, okay, I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on the situation with Flyers player Ivan Provorov and the pushback he's been getting for not taking part in the team's Pride Night. He says, you better conform or else respect equals conformity. Love that. I'm glad we got to that. It's crazy how that works. All right, Justin Decker, all right, $5 donation. Super hard to call in. Great. Jake, I made it to level 32.
Nice.
And Blaine, I'll never trust your parlays again. Hold on, I keep looking.
Whoa.
I keep looking at it now. I'm up 9 units.
Yeah, it's funny, and it was an NHL bet that Justin Decker asked for the other day. Justin, we appreciate you, buddy. Congrats on level 32. And speaking about that, guys, I've got to give a birthday shout out here in a second. Let's stay in the Booster Club. I told a certain someone that I would do this. Blaine, what else we got?
All right, let's go to Cal Kennedy. What's up, Cal?
Yeah.
Hashtag Ask Cone. That's you, David. It says, will Baby Cone still be Baby Cone when new baby girl makes her arrival?
I think Baby Ace.
Baby
Ace. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Baby
I like
Ace.
that. I like that. What else?
We'll
we
deal
got?
with that when we get there.
All right, let's go to Travis Elrod. What up, T-Rav? Hashtag Ask Crane Company. How long before the name Cowboys is declared sexist and people demand it be changed to the Cow People?
Look, who knows? It's a great question.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. At the end of the day, I would not put it past anybody doing anything when it comes down to changing names or somebody being, offended by the term Cowboys. We're offended by everything nowadays. I mean, what's gonna stop us? All right, so here we go. All right, we got a guy's huge fan of the podcast. All right, I'm gonna give him a shout. Garrett Neal. All right, happy birthday, my friend. He's from Columbus, Georgia. Grew up an Auburn fan. Loves the show. I want to tell you, it's your fiance that told us this. So make sure you show her some love. His birthday is actually January 18th, which is today.
Happy birthday, Garrett.
So happy birthday, Garrett.
Bingo
Neal.
night.
How about
Love
that?
it.
You love to see it.
All right, let's go to Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba's in
Mo
here?
Bamba, hashtag Ask Crane Co. I've only watched a little bit of hockey, mostly the press, but I really enjoy it. Who's the best team to follow based on fan base? I'm in Houston, but not a lot of my friends follow hockey here.
It just depends. Are you like a guy that likes underdogs, like small market team, or are you a guy that likes to root for the villain? Blaine's trying to get Flyers fans. Like, I'm going to tell you, here's what you need to do. All right, you need to become a member of Smashville.
Yeah.
All right, it's the Preds. It's the Predators. I'm putting on, this is the first time I've ever lived in a city that had a hockey team, so you best believe I'm putting on for the Preds. All right, can I ice skate really good? No. Can I rollerblade? Yeah, like freaking Tony Hawk with a skateboard. But when it comes down to hockey, all right, just started following the last couple of years, really enjoy watching it now, and especially when you get close to playoff time, like the teams that are more up-tempo. But give me the Nashville Preds, man. It's Smashville. That's how we live around here.
And if rooting for your team and your division and your conference isn't enough, hockey has an added element where there's a Canada versus American vibe.
For sure.
So some people are just like,
well,
all right,
really,
when it gets to the
North
finals,
America.
I'm pulling
Love
for
that.
the American team, or I'm pulling for the Canadian team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just find it hilarious in hockey that we've had teams like, Tampa Bay won it in hockey. That's like, hey, Siberia won it in football. It's like, how the hell do y'all even practice?
They didn't.
No, they didn't. Don't go in the woods or the water. But Cone, before we get to calls,
Okay.
it's Wednesday.
Oh, it is Wednesday.
Let's go, yes.
Which we know is one of our favorite segments. It's where our 6'7", soon-to-be father of two, curmudgeon of a man that says he's 34, but deep down he's 86. Yeah, okay, 76. I'll give you that one. It's like you were born in the what? 40s, somewhere around there? Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. David Cohn, you're always telling somebody to get off your lawn. Who's G'ing off your L today?
PETA, get off my lawn.
Get off, Peter.
Shortly after Georgia dominated TCU, claiming its second consecutive national championship, the animal rights organization PETA issued this statement. We are calling on the university president to replace poor Uga the Bulldog with a human mascot and examine its promotion of deformed dogs, which drives demand for breathing impaired breeds known as bibs. PETA, let me just be the first to tell you, as someone from Georgia, and pun most certainly intended here, you are barking up the wrong tree. Firstly, you just called Uga deformed and poor, which I'm going to take as disrespect. Yeah. Secondly, after back-to-back titles, you can rest assured Georgia ain't changing a thing. Kirby Smart's still trying to get Stetson Bennett a 12th year of eligibility. Thirdly, have you seen Uga's lifestyle? He has his own custom-made Chevy Suburban with a personalized license plate, a state-of-the-art air-conditioned doghouse made with eco-friendly materials and a 50-year warranty. And when he's not there, he's taking pictures with the cheerleaders. Yeah, rough life. Furthermore, when the sad day comes that Uga 10 must be laid to rest, he will be entombed in a marble mausoleum at Sanford Stadium. This dog is royalty. Now, I'm an animal lover. So are Jake and Blaine. Among us, we could film another installment of Ace Ventura this weekend. And I do have my own issues with Georgia's mascot because he should be an American bulldog, which is native to the Peach State, rather than the English breed. But I will save that fight for another day. PETA's desire to cancel Uga is disgusting, and it has nothing to do with the ethical treatment of animals. Rather, it's another attempt to exert control and eradicate certain aspects of American culture, to which we say no. And PETA, never forget the words of Kevin Spacey from Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. No matter what you accomplish in history, you will never be as famous as Uga. So stay off his lawn.
Yes, sir,
That's great. I'm going to try and watch my words carefully. That was fantastic, David. This is why nobody takes PETA seriously. Are some of these protesters, when you do stupid things like this, where like people with normal functioning brains can understand how stupid it is, your cause loses effect. It's like these people that handcuff themselves to the basketball goals before an NBA game to talk about the trees in Islamabad or something, or the people that throw grits or cake on famous paintings or cars or automobiles. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping your cause. You're reinforcing what the rest of us think about you. The funny part is, Uga lives better than 99% of the people in PETA that live in their parents' basement, that don't put on deodorant and just eat granola all the time and smell horrible. We laugh at you. We laugh at you. Now, I'll say this. Bibs are breathing impaired bulldogs or breeds or whatever. I got a French bulldog. Y'all come after that, these hands are rated E for everyone. Yeah. Y'all can catch. You want to see protesting? Take a step in my house and mess with my dog. But when it comes to PETA, if you guys just went after like poachers and people that were really harming animals, I'm fine with helping save the whales, man. I think it's disgusting what they do with whales and stuff like that. I would be right there fighting with you. But it's when you pick stupid-ass battles the famous mascot of Georgia that, like you said, is treated like Joffrey before the dragon showed up, then we laugh at you and make fun of you, and your cause loses effect. This just goes to show you that these are not smart people. Because if they're smart people, they would understand that it's called situational and self-awareness. They have none. And when you have none, I can't take you seriously.
This is the response you should get if Georgia was serving like bulldog meatballs at the concession stand.
Yeah, if there was every time the other team scored, they whipped the bulldog or dropped him off a short cliff.
That's something
I'd be right there fighting with you.
That's something we can all get behind.
Or if they had a shot collar for him that they were just zapping him every time, like I'm right there with you. We'll fight it together. But why does PETA not just go after the stuff that really matters? Do you think anybody after hearing that woke up this morning was like, I am so enraged at the University of Georgia for treating that bulldog with respect, dignity, and lavishing him with gifts, cars, and mausoleums?
He has his own car. He has his own suite at Sonny Seiler's house in Savannah.
He lives better than everybody in the Middle East. Like, it's laughable. It's laughable at best. But look, if you want to call in and talk about PETA, we can do that too. We're a versatile show. Speaking about dual threats, that was a great get off my lawn, Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Got a couple minutes till we go to the live calls. So, Blanye, Booster Club, let's get it.
Let's go to Mike RFF Lifestyle. What's up, Mikey? Hashtag Ask Creighton Company says, who would you want to start your NBA team if prior injuries did not occur? Luka, Ja, or Zion?
Give me Luka.
Luka.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with Luka. I mean, God, Zion's not bad, but he's always hurt.
The sorcerer supreme that is Luka Doncic.
Let's go to Connor. He says, is the fact they don't like that UGA has an air conditioner and heater in his doghouse on the field. He probably also has a gas stove. They also talk about deer hunters, yet you don't see them protesting when deer come through.
Yeah, I think it's a sham. I think it's a joke, to be honest with you. I think it's just a bunch of people that don't have anything else to do, and they want to say that they have a job, so they're like in PETA, which that's not really a job. Now, look, I've eaten at the PETA Pit, all right, PETA Stop, all right. I love to eat a good PETA breaded sandwich, whatever you want to call that thing. But these people, no, I just don't believe in it. Again, it's like the people that cry racism when it's not racism. I know it exists. I know that people treat animals bad exists all over the world, and where that actually happens. Let's fight that bad boy together. I will show up with you or whatever. But when you have causes like this, okay, I can't take you seriously. It's like Prestige Worldwide at first, all right? Nobody took them seriously because they weren't serious about it. And then the Catalina wine mixer happened.
There you go.
And they became legit.
There you go. I have two things here before we get to calls. First, I wanted to get to this situation up in Ann Arbor. Michigan co-OC Matt Weiss has been placed on leave as the university police department investigates potential computer access crimes at Schembechler Hall. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Yeah, look, whenever it comes down to computer access crimes, and I've never worked for the FBI. I've watched Mindhunter, both seasons, one of my favorite shows.
I have too.
But I've never worked for the FBI. Computer access, to me, can only mean a couple things.
Yeah.
And none of them are good.
None.
And the fact that it's gotten this far means that there is a there, in my opinion. I'm innocent until proven guilty, but you talk about unmarked cars showing up at this guy's house. Looking at it, if it is what I think it is, and I'm not going to accuse this man of something that I don't know, but it's a very narrow scope, I think, when you talk about computer access crimes. You're doing this at work? At work? How arrogant / stupid do you have to be?
We're going to see. I mean, we're going to track this story. I don't know. Computer access crimes at Schembechler Hall.
I don't think oh boy was hacking into I don't think he was trying to find the files on Bob
Bitcoin
Lazar.
database.
Let's put it that way.
I don't know, but we're going to track this story, and hopefully it's a misunderstanding. Can we hope for that?
We can hope for it. I hope it is. I hope the guy didn't do anything wrong, but I feel like it's gotten to this point.
Maybe you misplaced your 1099 or something.
Did you put the wrong login 3 times?
Hey.
And just use somebody else's? I hope it's something like
that. But
they don't send marked cars over there.
I was going to say, yeah. Okay, bad situation there. And then quarterback Jake Garcia also transferring from Miami. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Look, I think Mario Cristobal is molding it down there. I'm buying Miami stock over the next 5 years. I know they didn't have a great year this year. They got embarrassed by Middle Tennessee at home. They gave up, more big plays than Broadway. It just said at some point Miami is a sleeping giant. We're watching FSU on the come up now. I think they got a really good chance to make the playoff next year, speaking of Florida State. But don't be shocked with the way Miami's recruited up front if you see them start to make a move. But this doesn't surprise me in the age of the transfer portal. Hell, nobody transferring surprises me now, David.
How you feeling about Miami, Blaine?
God, I wanted to buy in. It was just like, man, you looked bad last year. Like, it was extremely bad. I know you're getting some good players, especially up front, but your quarterback played mediocre. You lost to Middle Tennessee State, man. You lost to Middle Tennessee.
That's last year.
Yeah, but what else do you want me to go off of?
Maybe give the man time.
Okay, yeah, that's we'll see. You got a lot to fix. Defense looks terrible. You fix it. You're going to fix a couple places up front. Your quarterback was overrated, obviously. Mario can recruit, but we'll see. I still think he didn't. He kind of was overrated at Oregon somewhat. Didn't end up winning the big game. You have all those athletes out there, so we'll see. I'll buy the stock more than Miami than A&M. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, again, that's a different argument.
Y'all ready for some calls?
Yeah. Let's get some phone calls in here.
Let's go.
Remember, we go live calls Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now. We're super Jack Tan and emotionally spiritual about it. What else do we got?
First up, we have Justin from Nashville. Justin, let's go ahead and set this tone early, buddy. What do you have for us?
Hometown call.
Well, okay, so I'm a Seahawks fan because I grew up in Seattle area. And with Geno being a free agent now and Seahawks having a top 5 pick, do they take this opportunity if C.J. Stroud is there or maybe Bryce Young? Do they take this opportunity to go after a quarterback early in the draft?
It's a good question.
It's a fantastic question, and this is what the GMs and these guys, these are the decisions they get paid to make. I mean, you can look at the positives on both sides, right? You do have the pick. You have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Kenneth Walker has shown you to be a good back where you were beat up at the running back position with Elijah Penny, I believe. I think he has a chance to continue to be a really good player. You have Noah Fant at tight end. You look at the defense, they can keep adding pieces, but Pete Carroll found a way with this team to take them from what people thought was going to be the gutter to the playoffs. Now, when it comes to Geno Smith, I will always default to a bird in the hand is better than one in the bush. Even though I think Bryce Young has a chance to be stellar. C.J. Stroud has a chance to be stellar. Geno Smith, I know he's 10 years in. All right, his career isn't going to last forever, but he already has the chemistry developed with DK Metcalf, as I said before, with Tyler Lockett, with these guys around him. He seems to be a leader of the team that people respond to. And the fan base, I feel like, and I know you're in Nashville, but you're still connected to the fan base here, Justin, I feel like they've kind of fallen in love with Geno Smith. I could make the same type of comparison when I'm looking at what Geno Smith has done for the Seahawks than anytime you've had a journeyman quarterback come out of nowhere and really figure it out. And we've kind of seen guys this year, right? Daniel Jones in year 5 figure it out. Geno's a great story. Then on the flip side, you have a young Brock Purdy who's coming in and showing you he belongs. But I will always default to a bird in the hand is better than one in the bush. Could this year be an anomaly with Geno Smith? Yes. But I just feel like when you watch the way it happened and the way he operated in this offense with the pieces, it just feels like a good fit to me, Justin. I mean, what do you think? You play GM right here. Are you going to get that quarterback in that top 5 pick, make that move? Or are you going to let Geno ride it out on maybe a 3-4-year deal? Because I don't think you have to pay him $250 million.
Personally, I think the defense is the number 1 priority, and Pete Carroll's a defensive coach. I think maybe farther down the board, you can draft for the future with a young quarterback that maybe you can develop. But I agree with you that Geno Smith is the future, at least for the next year or two.
Justin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked are you at how good the Seahawks were this year?
Put me at a 10.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I was one of the most surprised people in the room.
Do you agree with that, Blaine?
Well, I don't think, one, you're not going to get Bryce or CJ.
Okay,
well,
but that was his question.
They're not going to make.
That was his question. At 5,
they're not going to make it to 5. Okay. All right. If anything, teams are going to come up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could trade with the Bears.
1 second, teams are going to come up and get them. Especially who knows what the Colts are going to do. But right now, you have a good secondary, and you're somewhat young. What's been the problems? Right. It's been up front. You have 3 guys in the middle that are really good at stopping downhill runs, but can't get to the perimeter. If you have a chance to draft Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, you have to get those guys, right? I believe you have, I don't know if you have 2 first-round picks, but I think you have a 5th and a 23, if I'm not mistaken. So you can get the right quarterback late, and I don't even know you have to do that in this draft. When it comes to Geno Smith, you give him that 2 to 3 year deal, a contract that doesn't kill your cap space, right? And then look at next year's draft.
See, I agree with you guys only if Bryce and CJ are off the board, which, it is likely. If Bryce Young or CJ Stroud is there at 5, you have to take one of them if you're the Seattle Seahawks. And mostly because there's this thinking these days that if you have a top 5 quarterback, you have to start them right away. See, I don't see it as that way. Remember when the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers and they still had Brett Favre, and Brett Favre was obviously upset about it? Aaron Rodgers was able to sit behind him for a long time and gain that experience. You could have a situation where Bryce Young or CJ Stroud does have a season or 2 with Geno Smith still providing good years.
Well, see, and Justin, we appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much. I disagree a little bit with if you're the Seahawks and you're at 5, you have to take a quarterback. If CJ
quarterback, those quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If CJ
Will Levis, no.
Yeah, if CJ or Bryce are still there, I'm still believing in Geno, and I am. Somebody wants that pick. Somebody is going to really, really want that pick. I know there's a very small chance that they're still there. I feel like you could get a king's ransom if you're the Seahawks with that 5th pick to be able to really supplement that
and trade it in the moment.
And trade it in the moment before. But again, the odds of because look, the Bears I think are trading that pick. I think the Bears are trading that number 1 overall pick.
We'll see.
Is it to the Colts? Who will it be? I don't know. But Justin, we appreciate the call, buddy.
That's going to be a question we're going to talk about all offseason, Justin. Thank you. Let's go to Joshua, and Joshua's coming in from Texas. Joshua, what you got, man?
Hey, guys. It's Bacon Eater again. Good to talk to y'all in Texas this week. I'm a Tulsa alumni, and watching Montgomery coach for the last 8 years. And then I agreed with his decision to leave, but I'm also concerned going to Auburn, how much does the offensive coordinator have when the head coach is so offensive-minded? Because in my opinion, the reason he left is because of so many bad calls over the years in different games.
Yeah, it's a great question. And, you know, when you're dealing with it'd be different if the head coach was Kirby Smart, right? Where it's a defensive guy and you know this is the offensive system they're going to run. And look, Philip Montgomery's been around the block. I think, though, it is a lot different when you're preparing an offense, when you're the head coach and technically the OC, but you always have an OC as opposed to being the OC. I think him being able to do what he's best at. You remember I used the relationship analogy to where imagine if you could just focus on one part of the relationship and it's your favorite part. Maybe it's going to the movies. Maybe it's cooking dinner and you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. Well, as a coordinator, that's kind of how it is. That's why you see some guys that are uber successful as coordinators that don't end up being uber successful as a head coach because there's so much more that goes along with it. Now, if you look at the Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery dynamic, I do think it's going to be a mix and a blend, identity-wise. I think you're still going to see the RPOs, the three-man surface method. You're going to see a lot of the Hugh Freeze principles. But from a play-calling standpoint, I think Philip is going to call the plays. And the best play callers have feel. I feel like he's been around long enough to have that feel. We'll see, but it's kind of the same thing right now, Josh, that people are saying, all right, how's this Bobby Petrino, Jimbo Fisher thing going to work? Now, that's a different dynamic. Jimbo's never relinquished the play calling, but let's look at Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze has always called the plays. I mean, hell, we had him on the show before, and he's like, yeah, I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm running the meetings and doing these things. It takes a lot for a guy that has built up his resume and his whole repertoire is based on him calling the plays on offense in the system that he created, and then taking the biggest job he's ever had and the biggest moment and his redemption tour at a huge place like Auburn and saying, you know what? I'll let Philip Montgomery take the wheel. So I don't think we're going to know until we see it on the field. But if I was the betting man, which I am, I would bet you'd have some sort of a blend, but Montgomery is going to be the primary play caller because when it comes to play calling, you talk on the headset with every coach. They tell you what they think, but there has to be one voice that's calling the plays. I think you're going to see that from Philip Montgomery, but it should be pretty interesting.
Love it. Joshua the Bacon Eater, thanks so much for calling in, man. We appreciate it. All right, let's go to Randy, and Randy is calling in from Ohio. Randy, what do you have for us?
Hey, guys. Just had a quick question about Michigan. What player or players are you most excited about this year? For instance, I'm excited about Michigan's Johnsons, Cornelius and Will. I think they're going to be phenomenal this year.
Yeah, Cornelius Johnson just announced that he's coming back, which is huge. That's huge. And look, I'm going to take just the low-hanging fruit here. It has to be J.J. McCarthy. He comes in as one of the highest-rated recruits that Jim Harbaugh has ever had, even going back to his Andrew Luck days at Stanford. This is J.J. McCarthy's junior season. Remember, he wasn't even named the starter before the first game of the season last year. This is an opportunity for him to step up to the plate. Now, if you're Michigan and you just got beat by a TCU team that you were supposed to win against and go to the national championship, a couple things you don't want to have happen right after that next week. You don't want to have an investigation for recruiting. You don't want to have your co-OC under police investigation or your NFL, your head coach potentially going to the NFL. Some good news this offset that. Jim Harbaugh has said he's coming back, formed a deal directly with the president and not the AD. And then Blake Corum, your star running back, a Heisman Trophy contender, announced he's coming back, even though I think he would have been a 3rd or 4th round pick. Those are good things. There's just 2 facts about Michigan right now. One, a 13-win season and losing in the college football playoff is a lot better than the alternative that Michigan has seen for the last 15 years. And the flip side of that is Jim Harbaugh, Randy, still has to prove that he can win on the biggest stage. And not only at college in a national championship, but remember, he didn't win the Super Bowl when he had an opportunity, even though he was able to get there and win NFC championships. That's what I want to see from Michigan.
Well, again, you had an offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award. How many
twice in a row.
How many of those guys are coming back?
A lot.
3.
3. There you go. If I'm a Michigan fan, that's what I'm the most excited about. We know Blake Corum's a really good player. We know that J.J. McCarthy has the potential to be elite. He has shown flashes of it. He's been to the big dance, and he was disappointed. He'll be as hungry as ever. We talked about some of the guys on defense they return, even though I know they had that big defensive lineman enter the portal that they were counting on. But when you return 3 out of 5 of one of the best offensive lines in the country, it takes the pressure off everybody else, and it helps them elevate their game. I know it's, like you said, J.J. McCarthy, yes, very true. Blake Corum, very true. Both the Johnsons, Will and Cornelius, very true.
Yeah,
but Michigan has bridged the gap, and the reason they keep kicking Ohio State's ass is because they're more physical than they are up front, and they own the line of scrimmage. That has been the difference in Michigan. It's not just J.J. McCarthy, because you watched Cade McNamara make the playoff last year. It's not just Ronnie Bell or any of these other guys. It's up front. That's the difference. That's where you get excited when you really know the game. So, Randy, at the end of the day, Michigan's in a really, really good spot. I would not be surprised at all if you guys win the national championship next year.
Remember, Will Johnson was a freshman this year. Will Johnson was a freshman out
Randy.
there putting him on some of those elite wide receivers that OSU has. Blaine, I mean, what do you think about what Michigan has returning?
I mean, obviously it's going to be good. And it goes back to what Jake says. Y'all have an identity, man, and that's half the battle. Y'all identity is going to beat you up front. Right, and that's so. If anything, I'm more worried about the defensive side than the offensive side. Right,
and that's been proven.
Exactly. And J.J. McCarthy made a couple of mistakes in the playoffs, but offense was rolling. I didn't really see your defense get stretched like that all year. But if anything, Michigan, you're in a phenomenal place. You have one of the best rosters and bringing back one of the best quarterbacks. And usually the top tier teams you look at right now, they're losing what? Their quarterback, especially Ohio State.
The moment Michigan hired Jesse Minter from Vanderbilt, you may mention that he's one of the best defensive coaches in the country. When you see the adjustments that Michigan was able to be one of the better second-half teams, the best second-half team in the country, a large part of that was on the coordinators, because we haven't seen Jim Harbaugh do that with some of the previous coaches. So I think you were right about Jesse Minter. And now the offensive coordinator situation, it was a co-offensive coordinator, and now one of them's under police investigation, like we just talked about. Sharon Moore moving forward, probably be the OC. I don't know, but we'll keep track of it. Randy, thank you so much for calling in from Ohio, buddy. All right, we have Jariah calling in from Idaho. What do you have for us,
first
Jariah?
call from
I hope I pronounced
Idaho.
your name right.
Potatoes are mighty good out there.
Thanks for taking my call. First, I'd like to say thanks for letting me in the trust tree.
Yes, welcome to it. Welcome to it. Take stock.
Second, I'd like to apologize as a Boise State fan for Brian Harsin. Terrible.
I needed that.
Man. I think you guys should start a segment called Brian Harsin Ultra Soft Player of the Week.
Brian Harsin blocked me on Twitter.
I saw that.
Blocked me on Twitter. Well, congrats. It's the first time he's been successful having anybody block anything since he went down to Auburn.
Oh, hold on. I wish I had a laugh track on that one.
Yeah. But my question is, Boise State Athletics is getting a lot of donations. I mean, getting more donations than classified documents found in but and they're getting a big football stadium expansion. My question is, do you think that they're trying to be more enticing to Power 5 football, or do you think they should stay Big 5 with the playoff expansion?
Look, I think Boise State does have the profile. Now, the location does make it tougher to be able to put together a great Power 5 product consistently. But Boise State is a brand that everybody knows, thanks to some crazy plays and big game. We go back to the Oklahoma game, and Boise State really has kind of burst on the scene, and people know who they are. And you look around at Houston, and you look around at UCF, and you look around at BYU and some of these other places that are moving up to the Power 5, and you think, well, why not us? Boise State was the UCF before UCF, or they were the Cincinnati, before Cincinnati. So I think Boise State has a lot of the cachet to be Power 5. I think you should always strive to upgrade yourself. I think that's a good look, and it's good for the people around the program. Now, with the location, and I know you talk about the donations, because this comes down to money. It comes down to money and markets, which is more important at the end of the day, as sad as this is, than winning when it comes to going to a new conference. They want that market. All right? They want to be able to make money. They want to be able to sell it. And while I think you can sell Boise State, can you sell it at a really high rate? I think they would have to put a couple really, really big years back together. But with the playoff expanding and the group of 5 automatically getting a spot in there, I think Boise State, now that Houston is leaving, I mentioned the teams that are leaving, is one of those teams in the top 3 to 5 that have a chance to make it out of that group of 5 every year. So I think you can get away with it either way, but you would always want to strive, right, to be better and take that next step. That's the way that I view it.
Yeah,
Love it.
I would say the same.
Love it.
Yep.
Thank you, Jariah. Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Be
And
safe out there, buddy.
Thanks for the segment idea as well.
Yeah,
really appreciate
that's exactly
that.
right.
All
The
right,
Charmin Ultra Brian Soft segment.
let's keep it rolling here. We got Kyle coming in from Georgia. Kyle, what part of Georgia are you calling in from?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm from Cleveland, Georgia.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Cleveland rocks.
Good.
Yeah, so my question has to do with some comments that Jake made about track and field a couple weeks ago.
Here we go.
Good. Bring it.
Get him, Kyle.
But I was a collegiate thrower. Now I'm a throwing coach and strength and conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely
I
a
appreciate
sport.
the love on the throwing side.
Yes.
Yes.
And Blaine, sprinters are mid. I work with them every day.
Look, I agree.
Attitude,
Yeah,
mid, completely.
Love that. I love that.
All of them are prima donnas, but
Yes.
also as a strength coach, I wanted to say I saw the picture on Twitter of Blaine, you snatching that treadmill, and your form is
elite.
impeccable.
It's an everyday thing. Thank you. Well, I've really been paying attention to you and how you want your form. I'm a we guy, not a me guy. I really want to listen to your little things, your talking points. It's all at the muscles. Which side of the bed I woke up on.
It's the dorsimus connected to the
Yes,
uvulus.
absolutely.
It's boring, but it's my life.
Yes.
As long as the form is jacked and tan, you're all good and ready to go.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
There we go.
If you guys ever want to add some people to your list of aliens, look up the Olympic shot putters from the U.S. right now. Ryan Krauser is the best in the world ever. He leads the world.
What are the odds that he's from either Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio, or Michigan?
Hold on, I'm on it.
What are the odds? Let's see do you know where he's from?
Oh gosh,
I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet that he is from. Where's he from?
He's from Portland, Oregon.
What?
Portland, Oregon.
What? Did not expect
Hold
that.
on. 6'7", 320.
Out there throwing.
We need to get him on a pin and pull
Did he
action
pass
coming
it?
around, man.
I tell you what, it's funny when you talk about the track and field situation. Again, it's not cross country and sprinting outside. I'm not saying it's easy, okay, at all by any stretch of the imagination. But to me, there's a difference between a competition and a sport. And in reality, running is exercise, okay? Running is the simplest first form of exercise besides walking, right? It's different if I'm throwing a javelin or throwing a shot put or throwing a baseball or something like that, as opposed to just running. Hell, I think it's different if you're running the hurdles. At least you got to jump over something. But again, it's not saying it's easy. I just don't think it's technically a sport. It's a competition. It's like swimming. Swimming is an exercise. Just because you swim against other people doesn't make it a sport. It makes it a competition, which doesn't make it less valuable than a sport, and it doesn't make it easy. I think people kind of got confused there, but I know you didn't, my friend. We appreciate you calling in from Cleveland, Georgia, man.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it, man. I do think that track and field is a sport, and running.
Well, yeah.
I think field is a sport.
Okay.
Yeah, first of all, Justine has broke everything in the control room after that swimming comment. I promise you that. And two,
How'd you know?
I think the sprinters are a sport. This cross-country people piss me off. I'm going to be honest. There's nothing more that upsets me when me being at football practice and they're just jogging around like they're having the best time of their life. I'll never understand people who say, well, it's just, I love to go run. I just feel so free. I'm just like, no, you don't.
Well, here's my thing. But the first question and the only question everybody would ask before any practice I went to was, how bad do you think conditioning's going to be?
Yeah.
I'm not playing a sport that is conditioning. That is the sport.
I used to go up to the assistant coaches and be like, hey, How much today?
And I was just about to say, the player who was able to get that information for us at Michigan, it was Steve Schilling, offensive lineman.
There's always the person,
got the info. Steve, what do we got today? What did they say?
What's the big uglies that are going to get it? Yeah.
And it was always accurate.
It's the only thing you think about. You don't think about inside drill. You don't think on 707.
How much are we running?
It got to the point, especially like the older you get, like you wanted the practice to be longer just so you wouldn't have to get to conditioning.
No, well, you get a feel of like what's going on, and you root. I used to just pray that practice would go good.
Yeah.
It'd be a good practice. Like whenever we'd have to start over, turnover circuit or anything like that, I always knew we were going to pay the price in the back end. But when it's going good, everybody's flying around, communicating. You know why they're doing that? Yes, to win the game, but also maybe we don't have as much conditioning because coach is happy. But we
love that.
One more?
Thank you, Kyle. We do have time for one more. Let's get to our last one here. This is Jared. Jared is calling in from Seattle. What you got, Jared?
To Jared's.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say that I to actually wake up super early to go to the gym and I listen to you guys while I'm working out because it's nice and refreshing being like in this city to hear you guys. But I will say I need a little bit of help from Jake here because on like the mornings that I don't listen to you guys, I'm like randomly listening to like the podcast replay in the car with my wife. My wife, someone who graduated from Gonzaga for grad school.
Oh no!
Here we go.
No.
It's literally the only times that she's in the car are the only times that you're talking about Gonzaga basketball.
Say something nice about Gonzaga.
It's like all full of like concession stand parents. So
she's staring at him right now.
Oh, for sure.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, like we're going to the Loyola Marymount game, just in Spokane.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-hour drive.
Wow.
You can bet anything that we're going to be listening to Crane and Company in the car.
Okay.
So I'm going to hear this.
Okay.
Let's go, Jay.
Here we go.
Please.
All right, here we go. Number one, we appreciate you, my friend. I want to say this, okay? I am not going to sit here and say that I love Gonzaga.
We know that.
Yeah.
But I will say,
that.
I think Mark Few is a hell of a coach.
Sure.
What he has done at Gonzaga to put them on the map, you have to take them seriously. And that team with Jalen Suggs, I picked Baylor to win the championship that year, but I did have Gonzaga going all the way to the Final Four. But outside of that, I just question their physicality overall because when they run into some of these teams like in Arkansas or that they have these junkyard dogs, that finesse stuff really doesn't work. But the win over Alabama this year and the way Drew Timme was able to operate down in the post against that very talented and long Alabama team, I feel like Gonzaga can make a run, but I just do not have them winning a championship because I know that their mascot is a bulldog, but I don't think they have the dogs in them like that. But I do want to say, your wife is very smart and a beautiful person, and I'm glad she likes Gonzaga. And yes, they may sell.
Say something nice about their gym.
They may sell sour straws at the concession stand, and it may be the Gonzaga players' parents and Mark Few's wife. Okay, they may have volleyball lines on the court, but that's okay. You guys are about to drive to watch them play Loyola Marymount and beat them 136 to 47. It's like the UConn women. I'm looking last night. They're beating Seton Hall like 83-6 at the end of the first quarter. So Gonzaga, I like them. I use this analogy all the time. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Beer Fest, but they're like She-Whoop. They're a good strawberry beer, and I can't wait to see them go all the way to the Sweet 16 this year.
They're on an 11-game win streak.
Sir.
That is 10-point win over Alabama.
Okay, go against the teams. What 11 teams have they beat? And I don't want to take this down a dark road and get our boy Jared in trouble every
Why
time.
do we have to do that?
I feel, you know what, Jared, let's end it on a positive note.
Gonzaga's awesome.
Say something nice about Drew Timme.
Yeah.
They beat Michigan State.
They did.
They beat Michigan State, right?
Well, Gonzaga, it seems like they always have big wins.
They beat Kentucky. That win doesn't look as good now, but
no, Gonzaga is a top 7 program in college basketball, in my opinion. But they just get to the NCAA tournament, and I don't feel like they have the depth or the dog in them to go and win the whole thing. And you know what? If I'm wrong, Jared, I will literally sit here and admit that I'm wrong. But I just don't believe they make it. I don't think they make it past the Elite Eight this year.
Look, you're wrong. Jared's wife's right.
Okay.
Yeah, she is.
Well, that's good. I'm sure Jared says the same thing a lot. But we really appreciate you guys. Hey, stay safe on that drive too, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jared.
All right. So I appreciate it.
See you, brother.
I mean, the 1-point loss to Baylor You know, I mean, you can get behind that, but then
Gonzaga's a good team.
18-point loss to Purdue, 16-point loss to 16.
Who've they beaten on their 11?
20-point loss to Texas. Who they beat? They beat Kent State,
Pretty good this year.
Washington, Northern Illinois, Alabama when they were number 4. Then Montana, Eastern Oregon, Pepperdine, San Francisco, Santa Clara, BYU, Portland.
Pepperdine's not a walk in the park.
Pepperdine?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Not in golf.
Yeah, I
golf,
see you
there it
can't
is.
smile your way through this.
I'm not smiling. It's just my
Pepperdine.
face. Just my face.
What do you know about Pepperdine?
Drew Timme is a legend and a mustache legend at that.
Yeah,
For
look,
sure.
Drew Timmy's that guy, for sure.
He is.
I just wanted you to say something nice about their gym. That's all I wanted.
The air conditioning works.
That's nice. That's
It
quality.
does in Uga's Doghouse, too.
Yeah, which is probably nicer than their gym.
50-year warrantty on that thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
I love
over.
where I love where your head's at on that. All right, let's get to our bets for the day. Guys, great day yesterday outside of me because I want to take the time to tell Mike Bray and everybody at Notre Dame basketball the way you came out against. I know Florida State played the game of their life yesterday. I watched it. They went 10 of their first 13. But good Lord, if you're going to be small and white, shoot good. How about that? Just gross. I think they're 1-7 in the ACC. Maybe Mike Bray's last year. Mike Bray looks like somebody who could have starred in the movie The Departed. Absolutely gross. My Kentucky bet hit. My under in Bama and Vandy hit. And then Georgia Tech. Josh Pastner. Disgraceful. The NC State has like their third string big man who looked like Augustus Gloop out there, and he's still working. He couldn't even make it up and down the court barely. It's a clown show at Georgia Tech. Get Josh Pastner out of there. You can't spell Pastner without the word ass in it and past, and he should be in both.
You know, Augustus Gloop was like a bodybuilder.
Really?
No.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
no.
What do people who would star in Departed look like?
Look at Mike Bray. Google a picture of Mike Bray right now, Cone.
Mike Bray?
It
Mike
just looks
Bray.
like you're in the mafia. That's
Yeah, look, no, it looks like he's in the IRA, man.
He looks like he open up your door and be like, how you doing?
No, he's like, look, come in here.
I got the gabagool.
Want to play basketball?
The bulldog meatballs.
Want to play some basketball?
Oh, yeah.
Look, he looks just like 100%.
Man, you're in Goodfellas for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, he's like Mr. Green.
How you doing?
All right, so here's what we got tonight. Guys, up 7 units on the month as a group.
Okay.
Now, I didn't count one of us in there on the main one, and you know who you are. You know who you are. But
Oh, no. Oh.
so pissed. You know we love you, Ben, and Ashley as well. All right, here's what I got tonight. All right, minus 0.9 units, so we're still basically even money because it all comes down to the units. Overall record means nothing. It comes down to units and making money. So here's what we're doing. Texas A&M and Florida, under 138.5 at minus 110. Love the way A&M's playing. Somehow they're still on the bubble. It's like they just don't want A&M to get in the NCAA tournament. That's going to be one of my bets. That's at minus 115. Then we're going parlay. All right, it's plus 320. Give me Xavier, money line tonight. Samford, money line on the road at ETSU. Marquette at home, money line, and Virginia playing the Hokies at home. Probably going to be a low-scoring game, but give me those 4 money line. That's at plus 320. We hit this bet tonight. We're back in the green. Don't let me go 2-0 tonight. Don't let me go 2-0 tonight.
Or what?
David.
Or what?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's going to be great, but not for y'all.
All right, I want 2 dog bets tonight, too. Give me TCU money line. They're on the road at West Virginia. That's plus 110. Then I'm going a little hockey here. We were talking about the Boston Bruins. Give me the Bruins to win.
Okay.
Plus, I want the Calgary Flames to win.
Flame
All
on.
right. Money line on both those. That's plus 182.
Love it. All right. I'm going to do a little NBA. Give me the Nugs money line and give me the Grizz minus 5 is plus 143. Come on, fellas. Then give me the Tampa Bay Lightning and Bruins money line. That is plus 141. A couple dog bets.
I want to give you all credit, and Sergio, who runs Crane & Co. Pick Tracker account. Guys, we're up 16 units betting in hockey. And I don't want to bet hockey because I don't want to screw it up. Because y'all have been hotter than the devil in a volcano that's wrapped in a tortilla that they just lit on fire. All right,
hot.
now, Baby
Pretty
Cone.
hot, to be honest.
He wants to go Marquette and Auburn money line. That's at minus 119. Remember, Auburn goes on the road to play LSU. Who knows with Auburn basketball? I'll never bet it. Then he wants the Penguins on the money line, minus 125. Baby Cone, 29 and 25 on the month. A little bit down in the units, working his way back, about to be a brother. Super excited about what Ace has going
Up
on.
9 units.
And
I didn't know
remember,
that.
the Booster Club and our bets are sponsored by DraftKings. So download the Sportsbook app right now if you're in a legal place to do it. And use our code BOOSTER, like I always say, BOOSTER, and new customers can bet $5 on the NFL divisional round and get $200 in free bets instantly. That is only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Guys, our Booster Club bet of the day that we're going to tweet out of all those bets. Cone, you pick it today. What do you
want me? Let's see here. Let's go... How about we go with that Bruins and Flames parlay?
Been hot in hockey. Bruins,
plus
Flames
182.
parlay,
Why
plus
not?
182.
What do you think? You have Bruins as well?
Yes, I do. Money line.
So that's half of yours too.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Well, half calf.
What's going on in the Booster Club before we roll out of
get to
here?
the poll. That's how we do things on the show. You know, consistency's king.
What you got today?
Will Dak make his Super Bowl?
Will he make it to the
Will he make it or will he win
Super
it?
Bowl? Will he make it?
This year or ever?
Ever. Forever and ever.
I'm going to say they said no,
Hey,
54%.
No, 55%.
Ooh, no, 71%.
Whoa, good.
Yes.
You're right. Congrats on 71%.
A lot of Cowboy
You being
haters
right.
in here. I'm not
A
surprised.
lot of Cowboy haters in there today?
Yeah, a lot of Cowboy haters.
It's part of it.
All right, let me get you some donos here. I believe we have one. Let's go to Isaac Rose. What's up, Isaac? $10 donation.
Appreciate it, Isaac.
Good morning, men. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning,
I'm a
men.
plumber by trade, so I see things every day that remind me of my Louisville Cardinals basketball team. Well, Louisville will be looking for another coach after this season.
Well, I go back and forth on this. Obviously, it's the first year with Kenny Payne. But at what point is it such an abject disaster that you feel like you have to cut ties? It's been so bad for Louisville this year.
I'm not used to seeing
It's shocking. It's shocking. And like when he got the job, everybody was really excited. Kenny Payne's a guy that deserves it. We know how well he recruits. But it seems to me like Louisville can get no momentum at all. I mean, you look at them, they're 2-16.
Louisville can't.
How does that happen? Even coming off a terrible year, how in the hell are you? And you're getting just murdered. Guys, this is how they started the season. They lost to Bellarmine, Wright State, App State, Arkansas, I understand, Texas Tech, I understand. They started the season 0-3, 0-10. Then you somehow beat Western Kentucky. You sneak by FAMU, who's not exactly the Globetrotters, and you haven't won a game since. You lost to Lipscomb, NC State, Kentucky, Syracuse, Wake, Clemson, North Carolina. And you're not just losing. Outside of Syracuse, you've got your pants pulled down in front of everybody at the recital. And you weren't wearing underwear, and it's not good.
That's a blue blood basketball school.
At this point, if it keeps going this way, I don't know how you don't fire the guy after 1 year. You can mess around and win a couple games.
God,
Nothing worse than
that.
getting your pants pulled down at a recital.
Recitals are already nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
you know?
good. Who did that?
We had one kid who broke wind during the spelling bee in front of the whole school in the multimedia.
Did he
gotta
win?
relax.
Did he offset that with a win?
You gotta relax.
He didn't win?
No.
What did he misspell?
I just looked away.
He misspelled.
Everybody was quiet.
He misspelled
It's the
flatulence.
worst.
My head coach called me John Travolta after my junior prom.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that on air. We're not going to talk about that. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for the call-ins. We're we're having call-ins Friday. Got some great guests. Got John Middlecoff coming on tomorrow talking some NFL, our friend from the Volume over there. So make sure you follow us on all social medias. Subscribe, like, turn that notification bell button on, and make sure you go to the Daily Wire Plus and become a member. Because again, are you cool or not? The choice is yours. We got a great show for you tomorrow. And like the chances of the Bruins not being any good this year in hockey, we're gone.